What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another comic book review video where I say words about a comic book I read, and you, the magically delicious, listen. It is I, your crazy Nicolas Cage, your steward of Gondor, your genius, billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you guys be ever so kindly as to smash that like and subscribe button, because every little bit helps in this crazy YouTube world. And today, folks, the darkness is upon us. The end of the world is nigh. And what better way to kick off death, destruction, and misery than Marvel's Dark Ages? Issue number 1, written by Australia's sexiest, Tom Taylor, with the art drawn by Iban. And without further ado, let's get freaky. Alrighty, folks, so our story begins in New Jersey, where we pick up with Peter Parker, Mary Jane, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones, whom are all accompanied by their 2 daughters, May and Danny, for a playdate. And yeah, it's a basic Tuesday, superhero playdate 101. It's pretty chill and not a lot going on. Plus, it's pizza time. And while May Parker is starting to develop her spider powers and is crawling over the walls and all throughout the apartment, doing what kids do with spider powers, every spider-related character from across the world, Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, they all receive a jolt within their spider sense, like a massive surge, the warning of something big, something that they've never experienced, something beyond a Galactus planet-eating session. Elsewhere across the East Coast, we pick up with Moon Girl within her underground laboratory, and following everyone's spider senses blaring off, tremors start to occur. Now, Moon Girl, she is arguably one of the smartest people on Earth, possibly smarter than Reed Richards, although I highly doubt that. But hey, you know what? That's just my lovely opinion. And upon detecting and calculating the tremor waves, she knows that something is off, way off. And so immediately Moon Girl calls upon her trusty sidekick, Devil Dinosaur, and the 2 heroes head off towards the Baxter building to meet up with the one and only Reed Richards. Now, whilst Moon Girl is en route to the Baxter building, telepaths Jean Grey and Charles Xavier are the next people to pick up on the incoming threat. But wait, there's more. Because on top of that, we check in with Apocalypse. And because he's a cyberpath, our big bad blue boy here, he is able to pick up on the threat at hand. And like a badass mofo, Apocalypse smiles. Smiles because he's about to get more power. Now, once Peter's spider sense starts to fade away, Peter suits up and starts to swing over to Reed Richards, because whenever the Earth is experiencing world-ending catastrophes, Reed's your go-to guy. Shifting over to the Baxter building, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur arrive, and once there she whips out her calculations. And according to her calculations, apparently there seems to be some sort of impact, repeating impact happening within the Earth's core. And because this is happening within the core, it's only a matter of time before the Earth is completely destroyed. And while these group of geniuses continue to discuss the situation at hand, we are soon met with the arrival of the Watcher. And it's here where he lets us know that this is the moment that he's been watching for. Thus, the Watcher fills us in with some exposition as to what is actually going on. And we are told that 10 billion years ago, a living machine named the Unmaker was created in order to stop the entropy of the universe from consuming black holes. But over time, this machine became corrupted by its food source, and so it began to unmake the entire galaxy. Now, because this was a big no-no, the Unmaker was eventually stopped by the Living Tribunal. However, because the Unmaker's body was way too powerful to destroy, the machine was instead imprisoned within the core of a primordial Earth, our Earth. And this machine, it's been sleeping undisturbed ever since. But now it has awakened. And if this thing isn't stopped, the Unmaker will destroy the Earth, and from there, will move on to destroy the entire universe. Thus, a group devised of some of the brightest minds across the world are assembled. And the plan that they come up with is actually pretty straightforward. Face it, head on, like a hero, with a strike force. A strike force compiled of heroes such as the Scarlet Witch, Vision, Doctor Strange, the Invisible Woman, and of course, everyone's favorite clobbering time enthusiast, Ben Grimm's The Thing. And via portal, the team heads forth to confront the Unmaker, to hand the good old ass whooping, with a cherry on top. Basically, it's clobbering time. Now, upon the team traveling through the portal, they arrive within the Earth's core and are confronted by the Unmaker. However, this machine, it simply walks past them, treating our heroes as though they are nothing more been a group of ants. And whilst it continues to punch its way through the Earth's core, which of course is causing the planet-wide tremors, it's causing straight-up chaos across the world. And we see it happening. We see it in Wakanda as the tremors occur, shaking the kingdom up, whilst massive earthquakes everywhere else. Destruction is happening down in Atlantis, with King Namor watching in complete horror, and elsewhere we see members from the Runaways, members from the Champions, such as Miss Marvel, and heroes like Iron Man and Ant-Man. Everyone is desperately trying to do their best in saving civilians from being crushed. Picking back up with our strike team, we witness the Unmaker continue to pound the Earth's core, and as it's doing this, the thing charges forward, but within an instant, the Unmaker literally unmakes the thing, vaporizing him. Thereby, Ben Grimm is now dead, and from there it moves on to the next hero, the Scarlet Witch. And as she's attempting to change reality, the Unmaker zaps her, vaporizing her into dust, and this causes Vision to yell and go completely insane, and he charges forward, phasing into the Unmaker, entering its mind. And because of this, it allows our remaining heroes, Invisible Woman and Doctor Strange, some precious seconds before it goes back online. Thus, in an act of desperation, Strange reaches out to the reality where no electricity can function, and with this portal opening up as a means to suck in the Unmaker, the machine sees this and is like, hell no, and immediately attacks, stabbing Doctor Strange through the stomach. But fortunately, the Unmaker wasn't fast enough because upon doing this, an EMP blast shoots out from the dimension, killing the ancient weapon in the process. And with his dying breath, Strange sends Susan Storm back home. However, the only downside to this is that with Strange's death, the portal is left open. Thus, the EMT force from this dimension is able to flood through the entire Earth, cutting off everything electrical based, deactivating everything from medical tech to various weapons, synthetics, cell phones, TVs, even Iron Man's suit and Spider-Man's web shooters. Everything tech based is dead. And with his web shooters now dead, Spider-Man crash lands while swinging his way back to Luke and Jessica's apartment, which has been recently decimated by the tremors. And with Peter Parker freaking the freak out, fearing the worst, fearing that everything he loves full-heartedly is gone, hope suddenly rises as May Parker is shown lifting a chunk of debris, alas, saving Mary Jane along with many others. Now, this is when we hit a time jump, and it's 7 years later. 7 years have passed since the world went completely dark. And here we see a grizzled Peter Parker sitting around a campfire, narrating on how the world rebuilt itself into something new, something to be proud of. Yet despite that the world seemingly ended, only to have a new one birthed, that's when the apocalypse came. Literally. Iban Sur, aka Apocalypse, arrives. And this is when we pan over to see Apocalypse, alongside 6 superheroes. Superheroes who don't look all that friendly. They look dark. And that, folks, was Dark Ages, issue number 1. And this was a fantastic Grand Slam opening for another one of Tom Taylor's apocalyptic superhero stories. Except rather than this being part of the DC universe, which of course Taylor is probably known for writing stories such as The Injustice and DCeased, this is a story within the Marvel Universe. And once more, Tom Taylor delivers. One of the many things that I enjoyed about this first issue was the book's progression, as it doesn't waste any time with getting things started or setting up the situation. Essentially from start to finish, this book's reading experience will make you feel like you are on a roller coaster. Plus, when it comes to the characters' interactions, they never halt the story. The dialogue and the information that is being presented is done in a manner that will make you feel like you are driving a car, and in doing so, you avoid having to hit a single red light, which y'all know how amazing that victorious feeling is. It's fantastic. It's great. That feeling slaps. Another thing to bring up are the stakes, because with this book not being a part of the Marvel Comics canon, Taylor is free to do whatever he wants narratively without affecting current ongoing books. Therefore, the fact that Taylor took out fan favorites such as The Thing, Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch, not only is it sad, but it's also going to make things a lot harder for our remaining heroes, since they'll be without their heavy hitters. Also, Apocalypse as the main villain for an end-of-the-world Marvel story? Yeah, that's pretty dope. Hell yeah. And when it comes to the art, Coello's art is also fantastic, because with the Earth being powerless, a lot of the gadget-dependent characters like Iron Man or or Spider-Man with regards to his web shooters, they're drawn with a steampunk style to them, and it looks great. I love all the new designs of the characters following the 7-year time jump, and so I cannot wait to see what Mr. Coello can bring more to the table with further designs. But yeah, overall, Dark Ages issue number 1 was a fantastic start to Marvel's End of the World Tom Taylor story, and I cannot wait for issue number 2. Dark Ages issue number 1 gets a sexy 9.5 out of 10. Giggity goo.